come down, and I usually get them Friday night, and it's always profound because it's like, okay, this is clearly needed for the church today. And sometimes it's issues that we're already dealing with, and I say, okay, let's see, we all in one accord. So the title of this lesson is called "Covetousness Leads to Death." Covetousness leads to death. When you're covered, desire, lust after. Okay, so we're gonna read the commentary. So Deacon Amath, you could start reading the commentary, and we could turn your books into. We're gonna read the stories of the kings. I guess the highlights of our kingdom during the time of Solomon, David, Saul, and things of that nature. So we're gonna go into the story of King David. So turn your pages in 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 2. 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 2. And Deacon, you can read the commentary.
Covetousness leads to death. Oftentimes in life, there are things which are desired that really are not essential to our survival. Throughout the scriptures, there are many times where those of our nation were guilty of coveting to the point it resulted in the death of others. Today we will speak on some examples of coveting in an attempt to edify that we may help ourselves to get rid of this spirit. Soon we will all be without as we draw near to the end. This reality makes it even more important that we address the topic so that we can all avoid the wicked inventions of the mind in the perilous times ahead.
Okay, so let's read the story of David's fall and how he fell as a great king. So let's read 2 Samuel, the 11th chapter, in the second verse.
It's the book of 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 2. And it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. Verse 3. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him. And he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house.
So they had a night affair. Nobody knew about it. I don't know how it lasted. I know these days 5 minutes of pleasure in life of, I don't know what was the time, but it was a night affair.
Right.
And David, shh, don't tell anybody. I'll call you, okay? Okay, my lord, no problem. Right? And see what happens next. Now, if the desire were to stop, let's start at verse 2 again, right?
Verse 2. And it came to pass in the evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon. Verse 3. And David sent and inquired after the woman.
So he began to inquire after the woman. That was his loss right there. Right? He said, who is that? Right? And this is what the response. Read.
And one said.
And one of his messengers or one of his servants said, Lord, this is, read.
Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
And I could imagine the servant that was telling David about the sister. Well, Lord, my Lord, this is a married woman. Right? So, but that was the king. And the king like, listen, go get her for me. So the servant was like, oh my God. I'm in a rock and a hard place. Listen to my king or not listen to my king, right? Mm-hmm. So to show you how that decision affected that servant. So it not only affected that servant, because he was complicit in a wicked deed. You see that? So you see how one decision could affect the whole. We're going to read how one thing, one night of pleasure, this one thing that he did affect his whole community, his whole family, the whole nation. Let's keep reading.
Verse 4. And David sent messengers and took her, and she came unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness.
Come on.
And she returned unto her house.
Come on.
And the woman conceived and sent and told David.
So now he committed, how many crimes did he committed so far? He lusted after that woman. The brother who was, and all the servants that were involved with this, because this was a conspiracy. There was people involved with this. They couldn't bring this out. So now he's involved with all his servants are now complicit, did a sin punishable by death, right? And now out of this, what you would call a bastard child was born. Because that's where, that concept comes from, when a child is born illegitimate. That's why in Scripture says a bastard would not enter into the congregation until, I think, the 4th and 3rd generation. So these were kids that were born out of disgrace, out of an adulterous affair or something of that nature. They were defiled children. Now this kid, mind his business. He didn't know. It wasn't his fault. But now he cannot come to the congregation because he's a bastard child. And it wasn't his fault. It was his parents' fault. See how much, when you connect, we all connected, 6 degrees of separation, of wickedness. Right, let's keep reading.
And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child.
Okay, one of the earliest first baby mama drama in Israel. Mm-hmm. I got to talk to you, my Lord. I'm expecting. Mm-hmm. Right? Let's read. Let's see what else he does. Read.
And David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. Verse 7. And when Uriah was come unto David, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered.
So he began to talk to the husband. Hey, so how's the war coming along? All right, checking the husbands out. Now he's buying time. He's trying to figure out what a plan. So the first thing he has to do is figure out who's the husband, because now he's like, okay, what? Now this woman's pregnant with my child. So I got to figure out a plan. So he said, let me call the husband and get to know him. I could come up with a plan. Right? Let's keep reading.
Verse 8. And David said unto Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house.
So what he was trying to do, the first thing he was trying to do is cover up so if he laid with his wife around the same time that David laid with his wife, they could say, okay, that's your child. And then people be walking, and he's imagined that saying, your son looks like King David. You don't notice that? Does he? Yeah, he doesn't look like, oh, that's a blessing. No, that's a curse. Right. They were walking around with that fornication, so he was trying to cover up his sin, right? So let's keep reading.
And there followed him a mess of meat from the king.
Come on.
Verse 9. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord.
So when you go into history, when men used to go to war and they have to come back and get equipment and things of that nature, they come back and then other infantry go and sleep. Go out to war. Now, because no blood can go to the congregation or things of that nature, a lot of the soldiers used to sleep outside the camp because they just came from war. So they have to go through a cleansing, a spiritual cleansing, before they go back into they connect themselves to the sanctuary. So a lot of them, what they did, not to pollute their wife and their children, they just don't sleep they'll sleep outside the camp. You understand? Because they're about to go back to war anyway, and things of that nature. And they're in a war state of mind. So you're going with your wife and things of that nature. You become a family man. You're a warrior right now. So you kind of locked that thing off. So he didn't go back to his wife. He slept with his infantry. Okay, but King David was trying to persuade him to go sleep with your wife. Okay, go wash your feet. That's why he said go wash your feet, because they have to go into a purification before they go back into the inner court, certain parts of our kingdom. Right? Let's read.
And went not down to his house.
Come on.
Verse 10. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah.
So it was a conspiracy. So there was not only people that knew about this sin, that was helping King David to facilitate this crime, this thing. So people were looking at Uriah and they would say, yeah, my Lord, he didn't went back home, so he didn't sleep with his wife, because that was the plan. Sleep with your wife, and then people would think that's your child, not mine. Right? Read it.
And Salakia. And David said unto Uriah, Salakia, verse 10. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thy house?
So now David's getting nervous. Like, hey, don't you want to go back to your house? You know, you can't tell him. You know, he's panicking. Right? Let's read.
And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents.
You see that? So the ark, he was talking about the ark because you have to keep a certain distance with the ark if you're impure. Let's read.
And my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat, to drink, and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing.
So he was a good soldier. My Lord, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to enjoy a night of pleasure with my wife and see my kids. I want to deal with I want to go outside the camp, sleep with my infantry, right? My sergeant, my commanders, right? Let's read.
Verse 12. And David said unto Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day.
So now he had to keep a close watch on this guy. So stay here, stay with me, brother. Because now that second plan, I think when you keep reading, he trying to get him drunk. So hopefully if you get drunk, when men get drunk, what happens? Let me go see my wife. Babe, you up? There's food? I'm hungry. I got the munchies, right? So he figured, let me get him drunk. And maybe he would strangle into his wife's, tent, right? But that didn't work. Let's keep reading.
And the morrow, verse 13. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him.
Come on.
And he made him drunk.
You see that? Because so you see how Satan works when you begin to start plotting and planning, because he knows when a man gets drunk, he gets vulnerable. In the beginning when he was sober, he was like, no, I'm a soldier. But once you get a little happy, a little drunk, a little wine, let me go see my kids and my wife. Right? That was the plan. Let's see if that works. Let's read.
And at even he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his Lord.
But he went back to his infantry. He didn't went to see his wife. So even though he was a bit tipsy, he still was a righteous man. You understand? Read.
But went not down to his house.
So here is David was willing to compromise the Ark of the Covenant, because if he would have defiled himself and go and defile his wife, now his wife is unclean. Now she could have defiled the temple, because she could have. You understand? It's all connected. He was willing to do that. So now he's breaking that law, right? Let's read.
Verse 14. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah.
Now get this. Uriah in the morning, since then that didn't work, he called Uriah and said, listen, Uriah, I need to send this letter to your commander. And usually it was a seal of the king. So you cannot open it unless only the person who was in charge to open it will open the seal. So usually the letter was stamped close. So Uriah did not know what was in the letter. His job is to deliver the letter to his commander. Let's read.
And he wrote in the letter, saying, Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die.
So Uriah, he's probably happy because he slept. He hanged out with the king the night before. They drank. He's in a good mood. You understand? He's waking up. He's getting ready to war. He feels honored to be in the king's presence, right? And then the king gives him a direct, a job to do. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, feel proud. He's probably reporting. Shalom. I have a message from the king. For the letter so-and-so, he's all proud. He's standing there. The king did, his commander Joab opens up. Is like, okay. And Joab was he was in the conspiracy, right? So he knew. So let's read it.
Verse 16. And it came to pass when Joab observed the city.
And you got to remember, this was a Gentile, a Hittite. To show you the Most High has no respect of person when it comes to righteousness and wickedness. Right? Let's read it.
That he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that violent men were.
Come on.
Verse 17. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab. And there fell some of the people of the servants of David. And Uriah the Hittite died also.
Okay, jump down to verse 26.
Verse 26. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. Verse 27. And when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife.
So now it worked. Whew, I got away with it. Marry real quick. She comes out expecting. No harm, no foul. Right? Let's keep reading.
And bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Most High Ahiah.
Come on.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 1.
So we can just go jump down to the next chapter, verse 1.
And the Most High Ahiah sent Nathan unto David. And he came unto him and said unto him, There were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor.
So the prophet of the Most High came to David, and he already knew what was going on because the Most High already revealed to him. So now what happened is that the prophet because the prophets were also visors. They were they high visors within the kingship. So he came to him with a case that the king needed to hear. Hey, King David, I gotta talk to you about a case very seriously, about a dispute. So David's like, okay, he's happy because he got away with this crime. So here's the dispute that the prophet came in and told him.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 2. The rich man had exceedingly many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, which he had brought and nourished up. And it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat.
Come on.
And drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. Verse 4. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his flock and of his own herd, to dress of the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was come to him. Verse 5. And David's anger was kindled greatly against the man, and he said to Nathan, As the Most High liveth, that the man that have done this thing shall surely die.
So you notice that you got to be very careful what you said out of your mouth. As the Most High liveth, brother, I'll be there. You should, okay? If the Most High's will, I'll be there. Because anything you say, you must do. There's strength in when you bring out words, it's strength. It's recorded. You understand? So let's keep reading.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 6. And he shall restore the land fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thus saith the Most High, higher power of Israel.
That goes to show you the power and the authority the prophets had in the kingdom. It didn't matter when you were king. So the prophet was telling David, you're that guy. I'm talking about you. So you could imagine, I don't know if this was a private conversation or this was a situation you have, in these cases you have these recorders, what you call those guys? They record scribes. And they probably, it's probably a case, so they have to record the case. There's probably his cabinet. There's people, his entourage, and he's there standing in his throne. Here goes the prophet. Well, King David, I'm talking about you. So I could imagine how low David felt because immediately he came back to Uriah because he knew what he was talking about. Right? Let's read.
And Nathan said unto David, thou art the man.
Come on.
Thus saith the Most High, a higher power of Israel.
Come on.
I anointed thee king over Israel.
Come on.
And I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul.
Come on.
And I gave thee thy master's house.
Come on.
And thy master's wives into thy bosom.
Come on.
And gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah.
Come on.
And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things.
So if you wanted more, I would have given you more. That's what the Most High was saying to David. Read.
Verse 9. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Most High, to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword.
So the scandal came out. It's a scandal. So you could imagine everybody just like, oh my God. We what we did in secret came out into the light. Let's read. You guys, okay.
Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite.
Come on.
With the sword.
Come on.
And hast taken his wife to be thy wife.
Come on.
And hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon.
Come on.
Verse 10. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife.
And that goes to show you that David could have been like, oh, because David was, all his life was war. So he's at peace. The kingdom's already established. And he said, all your life, you're going to be dealing with war. His son went against him. You could keep reading what everything went down. There was all kinds of drama within his family and the nation because of what David did. Read.
Verse 11. Thus saith the Most High, Ahijah, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of thy son, of this son.
So look at what effect, ripple effect. Now these wives, because I think he had 10 wives were raped from one of his enemies. I think one of his sons or something, one of his enemies, because I know one of his sons came up against him. One of his sons also slept with his daughter, his sister David's daughter, and he rose against David because he wanted to be king and all kinds of wickedness and things of that nature. And then eventually, his servants killed him. What happened when you keep reading? King David told his servants not to kill my son, just capture him. But his servants killed him anyway and just lie about it and say, a lion ate him or something, because they knew if his son would remain alive, you understand, he was always trying to go against David. So he said, you know what, they plotted even against David to say, if we keep his son alive, he's always going to be a danger to the kingdom. So his servants, even in wickedness, they were loyal to King David, because back in the days, once you're a servant, you are a servant. You're loyal to your master and things of that nature. And so if your master was wicked and tell you to do things and things of that nature, it was an oath that you gave to the Lord, to your Lord. That's your master. So you gotta do that. That's why in the scripture says that servant obey your masters, but also says your masters don't provoke your servants to anger, because you yourself have a master in heaven. So it's a responsibility when someone's your servant, and in this case it will be your children or your servants. Okay, the elders of the church, the congregation are the servants of the elders and things of that nature. So it's a responsibility that we always have to remember. We have a higher power always looking down on all of us. Okay, when we're in that position of authority, we have to always be conscious of that. So just to line back and all the drama that happened with King David. Let's keep reading.
Verse 12. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 12. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel.
See that? So everybody found out about this scandal. You heard what King David did? It was a thing. It was a talk of the time. People would gossip. You know, Israel, you probably stood up all night talking about it. What's going to happen? I don't know. You know. And then, you know, Israel, you know, that would never be me, man. If I was King David, I was off, brother. I never thought King David? What? Not my king, right? It was the talk of the town, knowing Israel. Let's read.
And before the sun.
Come on.
Verse 13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Most High. And Nathan said unto David, the Most High also have put away thy sin, thou shalt not die.
So, look how low, small David felt, because what did David said? As the Lord lives, this man's going to die. You understand? So let's read. That's why Christ says, don't judge, because with the same judgment you're going to judge others, the same requirement is going to be on you. You're going to be judged with. Okay? Let's read.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 14. Howbeit because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Most High to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die.
See that? So now the child had nothing to do with the event. Now he was put out, you know, was taken away prematurely from this life. Read.
Verse 15.
Because remember, ultimately, the Most High did granted David to have another child with Uriah's wife, and Solomon came out of that. So what the Most High had to kill that child, because that child could not have been born under fornication and things of that nature. So you could imagine that. So the Most High, and really what this all was Christ, because it was always Christ, that angel of the Lord. It was always him being the mediator, dealing with all our mess. You understand what I'm saying? So it was never the God the Father. It was always Christ and things of that nature, right? That's why when you read in the scripture, it says that it was Christ reading the Ten Commandments or vocating the Ten Commandments, because he is the Word of God. So that's why Moses told Israel that the God, or the Elohims, plural, the powers are come down to prove you or test you. But that test was came with Christ, because Christ does not know the future. The only thing that he knows is what is revealed to him by the Father. That's when Christ came down and said, listen, everything that I'm telling you, I heard from the Father. As I listen, as I heard, I speak. So he's just a servant like any other angel in the kingdom of heaven. He's just the only begotten of the Father. He's the only essence, the only angel that the Father created, and that angel, that Son that he created everything else. Okay? Created all the angels and the luminaries. Okay. And us as well. Okay? Under his command. Okay? Let's read.
Verse 14. Shlakia, verse 15.
Under the command of the Most High. Let me clear that up. Okay, let's read.
And the son departed out unto his house. And the Most High struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought Ahab for the child, and David fasted. So
remember when the Most High said that I would visit the iniquity of your sins unto your children? So here's the child being born sick with illness that ultimately he died because of the sin of his father. So what you do today affects your children tomorrow. So the reason why we are born with cancer and diseases and things of that nature, we're just paying the sins of our forefathers. So if you want to stop the family curse, stop sinning. And your kids will be blessed. And those sins doesn't matter. Those curses does not matter whether we're righteous or not. We got to pay that debt. That's why King, what's that king that Hezekiah, he understood that he was paying for the sins of his previous kings. He just said, listen, that's why Isaiah said, listen, get your house in order because you're about to die. And and he said, listen, and he understood that he's going to lose certain areas of the kingdom. He said, listen, just pray to the Most High not to take Jerusalem. I'll let this lot that go, but just Jerusalem. Just pray to the Most High that we don't lose Jerusalem. Okay, but I'm not guessing. Let's keep reading.
Verse 16. And David therefore besought the Most High for the child, and David fasted and went in, and lay all night upon the earth. Verse 17. And the elders of his house arose and went to him, to raise him up from the earth. But he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. Verse 18. And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? Verse 19. But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead.
Okay, let's read the commentary, and let's go to James chapter 4, verse 1. James chapter 4, verse 1 in the New Testament.
Also, I want to clear up something as well, too.
Okay.
In verse 18. It says that on verse 18 that the 7th day the child died, meaning that that doesn't mean that it was on the Sabbath day. So just to clarify that as well, because the Most High doesn't kill on the Sabbath, right?
Right, it is on Sabbath day.
Yeah, it could have been on the 2nd day, and then it counted from the 7th.
The 7th day, because remember, you got to wait until what? The 8th day to circumcision. So he got killed before he even got circumcised. So if he was born on a Tuesday, then you got to circumcise him the next Tuesday at evening, which will be going into the 8th day. You understand? So he didn't even survive the 8th day to be circumcised, to be part of the covenant of Abraham. And the Most High cut him off a day short. Okay, so let's read. So we're in James chapter 4, verse 1, and let's read the commentary.
So David, being a king with several wives, still was not satisfied. He saw a woman and lusted over her, to the point his fleshly spirit overran him, and he committed adultery. And he then proceeded to have an innocent man killed over the scandal, and took his wife for his own. Even though David was alive and well, the sentence of death still came upon his house.
Okay, so let's read James chapter 4, verse 1.
It's the book of James, chapter 4, verse 1. From whence comes wars and fighting among you? Come they not hence, even of your lusts that war in your members? Verse 2.
So what James is saying says, read that again.
For hence comes wars and fightings among you.
So he was asking a question, because you see a question mark after it says the word you, right? So read it like a question.
Book of James, chapter 4, verse 1. From whence comes wars and fightings among you?
So the question is, where does war comes? He was talking about physical war between individuals and nations. Where does humanity? Where does war come from? Read.
Come they not hence?
Don't they come from this? And he's going to explain it. Read.
Even of your lust that war in your members.
It comes from your physical war that you're fighting. So if me and this brother are fighting, it's because one of us lost a war within ourselves. You understand? I lusted against his wife. I stole something from him. I spoke negative against, about the brother. I raised false witness. So here I'm fighting one physical war because I lost the mental war first. So that's what he's saying. Where does war come from? Where conflict comes from? Doesn't it come from the conflict within your mind, within your member? That's what he was saying. So let's read it.
Ye lust and have not.
Come on.
Ye kill and desire to have.
Come on.
And cannot obtain.
Come on.
Ye fight in war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not.
Because war starts from what? Want. I want this. You want that. Okay, let's fight. I don't think you should do this. Well, let's fight. So everything comes from want. And this is for you from an individual and also it's from a nation perspective. Let's read.
Verse 3. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust.
So you ask, give me that word amiss. Give me the strong one there for the word amiss. Read that again.
Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust.
Give me the word amiss definition.
This is the Greek word for amiss, Greek number 2560, and the word is kakous. Means badly, amiss, diseased, evil, grievously, miserable, sick, or sore.
Right, it's like miss the mark, amiss. So meaning you are acting of things the wrong way. That's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going around the wrong way about acting, and you're acting through your lust. Okay, let's read.
Verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of this world is enmity with the Most High? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of a higher.
Okay, keep reading.
Verse 5. Do ye think that the scripture saith in vain, the spirit that dwelleth in us lust to envy?
Okay, I think we went over that last week in regards of Genesis chapter 6, when it talks about that their heart desire was wicked continually. Okay, keep reading.
But he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, the Most High resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble.
Okay, so when you want something, what's the first thing you should do? Ask who? The Most High. So if you have that rule, right? Anything you want, you ask the Most High. You're not going to ask the Most High to do a wicked thing. Father, could you make sure that I keep safe when I rob this bank and I don't get killed? And you're not going to ask the Most High that. So that itself, if you put that rule in your life, you will put that filter that okay, if I don't feel right asking for this, that means it's wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So you should always ask the Father, and He will always give you that answer. So let's go to 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 1. 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 1, and we're going to read the commentary.
Commentary reads, all wars are fought based on someone's covetousness in this world. We are not to be as the world. David was a righteous man, and even though the Most High gave him grace and allowed him to live, he was chastised exceedingly.
Okay, so let's read a little bit on that in 1 Kings chapter 21.
Everybody there, Con? 1 Kings chapter 21, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things that Naboth, the Jezreelite, had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spoke unto Naboth, saying, give me thy vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house. And I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it, or if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. Verse 3. And Naboth said to Ahab, the Most High forbid it, that I should give thee the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. Verse 4. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased, because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him.
Okay, so this is other examples of lusting, other example in the scripture. So let's keep reading.
For he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. But Jezebel his wife came to him and said unto him, why is thy spirit so sad, that thou eatest no bread? And he said unto her, because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite. And he said unto him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. Verse 7. And Jezebel his wife said unto him, Doest thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thine heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Verse 8.
So here we have two people complotting against another man's lot. Right? Read.
Verse 8. So she wrote letters to Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city, dwelling with Naboth. Verse 9. And she wrote in the letters, saying, Proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. Verse 10. And set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him, to bear witness against him, saying, Thou didst blaspheme the Most High and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. Verse 11. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were in the inhabitants of his city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them, and as it was written in the letters which she had sent unto them. Verse 12. They proclaimed the fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. And there came in 2 men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme the Most High and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones that he died.
So there's actually a story about a king of Assyria, the king of Assyria, and it's giving an example. Let's keep reading.
Verse 16. And it came to pass when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab arose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, to take possession of it. Verse 17. And the word of the Most High came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Arise and go to meet Ahab, king of Israel, which is in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth.
So like him, this is the king of Israel when Israel was divided. That's right. So excuse me. Okay, let's read.
Whether he is gone down to possess it. Verse 19.
And the word Samaria means what? What was the word? What was the meaning of Samaria? And let's get the strong on that. Just a side note. What was it called that?
No, this is the Hebrew word for Samaria. It's Hebrew 81:11, and the Hebrew word is Shemai Rawan, and it means watch station.
Watch station, guard, servant, or someone guard, right? Watch or servant, guard is the same word as samurai. When you look at the word samurai, go to a regular dictionary if you have it. The word samurai, it means the same thing. And the reason why Samaria was called guard, because it was the first line of defense of Israel from the Assyrians and the Babylonians and things of that nature. They was the first line of defense to defend Jerusalem. You understand? That's why that area was called the guard city, the defense city. Yes, sister. It's but it's which one? Which verse, sister? 21:17. Elijah the Tishbite. Let's get the Strongs there. Okay.
This is the Hebrew word for Tishbite, Hebrew 86:64, and the word is Tashabai, and it means recourse. A Tishbite, an inhabitant of Tishbe in Gilead.
Yeah, that's a region. I believe Elijah was part of the 10 tribes. He was a Benjamite? He was a Benjamite? Okay, right. So he was within that region, he was within a certain region because you got, the lot of Benjamin, the lot of Simeon, but then there's certain cities within those lots. It's the equivalent of saying in the Bronx, but in New York, it's part of, it's a certain part of region. That was it. Okay, the water. Do we have the definition for samurai?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the definition of samurai in the dictionary. A member of the hereditary warrior class of the feudal Japan. Samurai, to serve.
To serve.
Equivalent, watchfully wait.
Watchfully wait, meaning a watcher, read.
Or to guard.
Or to what?
Guard.
See, so samurai in Samaria is the same word. It's a different dialect. It means scarred city. To show you that the original samurais came out of the 10 tribes. They established that order and things of that nature. So, that whole clan of that movie, The Last Samurai, that was really talking about us, wiping out that family line and things of that nature, okay, of Israel. They were in Japan. Okay, so let's keep reading.
1 Kings chapter 21, verse 19. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith the Most High, Hast thou killed and also taken possession? And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith the Most High, In the place where dogs lick the blood of Naboth, shall dogs lick thy blood, even thine.
Come on.
Verse 20. And Ahab said unto Elijah, Hast thou found me, O my enemy? And he answered, I have found thee, because thou hast sold thyself to work evil in the sight of the Most High.
Oh, so you're my enemy now? Because he was a prophet. So this story is actually dealing with a story from the kingdom of Judah. Well, at that time, the kingdom under David was all united. But this is also dealing with the kingdom of Israel in the future when the kingdom was divided. After Solomon, this is the lineage from Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Let's keep reading.
Verse 20. And Ahab said to Elijah, Hast thou Salakia? Verse 21. Behold, I will bring evil upon thee, and I will take away thy posterity, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pissed against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel.
22.
Verse 22. And I will make thine house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahaj, for the proclamation wherewith thou hast provoked me to anger, and made Israel to sin. Verse 23. And of Jezebel also.
And this is because the man who had a lot, was he an Israelite or a Gentile? Let's read. Who's the man that got killed? Above the Jezreelite. Get the definition for the Jezreelite. Who is that? Because sometimes you also remember even tribes began to be sub-called different names. The family of this, the family of that. So it became, even families became tribes within tribes. So the tribe of Gabar Yesha'ala, that name, so we were from the tribe of Simeon, but we did not, kind of give you an example. Did we have that?
Word of Jezreel?
The Jezreelite.
We'll go to Jezreel. This is the Hebrew word for the word Jezreel, Hebrew 31:57, and the word is Yazariel, and it means God was so. Is the name of two places in Palestine. Yeah, the name of two places in Palestine. That's what it is.
Okay, so that's probably a region. He was probably one of the tribes. We'll do more research on that. Give me the actual person's name. Maybe they'll give you the tribe's lineage from that brother, from the actual person. And his name is Naboth. Give me that. Yeah, you can find it in verse 2.
This is the Hebrew word for the word Naboth, Hebrew 50:22, and the word is Nabawath, fruits, and Israelite.
Okay, so we know he was an Israelite, most of the 10 tribes. So this is where you consider a lot dispute, because we had different lots, a land dispute. You know, everybody had land property. Sell me your land, brother. Come on. What do you want for it? Nah, you know, it's my father's. I want to keep it within the family. Come on. And see how it begins? Now it started a plot of murder and all kinds of deceit. So let's continue reading.
Verse 23. And of Jezebel also spake the Most High, saying, the dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Verse 24. Him that died of Ahab in the city the dog shall eat, and him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat.
Come on.
Verse 25. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Most High, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up.
Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 21.
That's the next chapter. Next we'll go there. You don't have to go there. We're just gonna read it because you should know this verse by heart. Let's read it.
Okay. Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is thy neighbor's.
Okay. So we're familiar with that scripture. Okay. So let's go to. It's Micah 2 verse 1. Micah 2 verse 1, and we're going to read the commentary. We're going to go to Micah. Micah is towards the end of the Old Testament because it's a small book. It's not in the Apocrypha.
Towards the end of the Old Testament.
Yeah. Micah. Micah. Okay.
Right after Jonah.
Right after Jonah. There you go.
And before Nahum.
Right. It's one of those books that. Okay. When everybody finds it, says Con. Okay. So we're gonna first read the commentary, and then we're gonna go to Micah.
Ahab and Jezebel had arranged for a setup to bear false witness against Naboth. Not only that, but this was all done as a direct result of Ahab's coveting his neighbor's field. Death occurred as a result, and a curse was placed on Ahab's future male descendants that they would die and be cut off from existence in Israel. Jezebel also died a horrible death as a result of actions of coveting Naboth's possessions.
So even commandments like let everything be established with two witnesses is actually not a divine law. It's a law that needs to be put in place because people are going to do wickedness. Because you have two witnesses here. And it's actually a scripture. My wife liked this story. And what's the story of the sister that Susanna, right? That two men wanted to sleep with her, two priests, and she turned them down, and then they were like, listen, okay, since we two respectful men of the community, let's raise a false witness with two witnesses. So even that concept is it's necessary because we're wicked. Just, you understand? So these are the divine laws that were put in place because our shortcoming, not because. So we should not take pride that that law was necessary in the Old Testament. It should just be one witness. What you saw, whatever you say is true. It should not be no trial and all that. That's not something that we should take pride. We should not be in a situation that we, in the children of Israel, we're supposed to live in a society that the court system is empty. It's rarely used. There's never a situation we have to have elders and looking, overseeing things, investigating and all that. The people are supposed to do what they're supposed to be doing. Do righteousness. Yeah, brother. So your hand up for a minute. Exactly. So that was to show you that a lot of these things that are established, let everything be established between two or more witnesses, is a law that it was there to make sure there is no there's some balance with witnesses, because people may lie. And there's an example that when you produce two witnesses, it could still be wickedness. You understand what I'm saying? So, like a good example on that is when they accused Christ. Because even there was like more than two witnesses, there were all kinds of witnesses, but they didn't agree. So the law of the two witnesses, which was established because of wickedness, to checks and balance. You understand what I'm saying? They couldn't even use that against Christ because you couldn't find two witnesses to collaborate the same story. So every two witnesses came up with one story, the other witness came up with another story. So even the rabbinical leadership, they were like, okay, we can't even, by our law, we can't even condemn this man. Because not these two witnesses don't agree. Yeah, he was there at 3 o'clock. No, he was there at 7 o'clock. He had a blue shirt, then he had a green shirt. They couldn't even agree because they were all lying. That's usually what happened. And it goes to show you that this society, a lot of these things, the police station and the way they operate come from the scriptures. When they take rate, where were you the 9th or the 5th? And they'll write things down and they'll get another witness. Well, this is a matching up. Somebody's lying. Let's get back. And then when they start matching up the story, okay, I think this is what happened because we're getting two collaborating story from two independent witnesses. But we're not supposed to even be there as a nation. We're not supposed to be, and it's funny because that's what I do when I'm about to move on a person. I get the witnesses. Hey, sister, hey, brother, are you willing to testify on that? Okay, Elder. All right, you sure? Because I can't. And if I don't have my witnesses, I just walk away. I used to put it in the hand of the Most High. I try to resolve the issue because I understand how human nature thinks. No, Elder, that was not me. I already got the email, the text, the two witnesses to stand by. Brother, sister, you sure you want to go this route? You did it. Just move on. But it goes. But that is necessarily not because those laws are not divine. Those are strategies to protect the nations from what? Wicked people. Or not wicked people that get caught up with wickedness. You understand? So let's go back to the story.
This was a commentary, I believe, or Lawya.
Yeah, the commentary, and then we go to Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
Okay, it says, not only this. Oh, Lawya.
You read the commentary.
I did, right?
Right. Okay. So let's go into Micah chapter 2, verse 1.
Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is the power of their hand. Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence.
See that? Read. That's exactly what happened with the kingdom of Israel, with this particular king. Read.
And houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house.
And who's the number one industry in America that does this? The banks. That's what they do. They prey upon families that you have a house that's been 3-4 generations. And there's an old lady living in a house. And they'll give, hi, Miss Jones, do you want to refinance your house? Do you need repairs in your house? And they'll come with a nice, handsome person and sit down and it's guaranteed you get this money, you'll be able to, refinance your house, work on, things that you need to work on. Because, you got people by themselves, and they can, a house is their responsibility. And sometimes, these people may have a house, but they have fixed income. So they may have a boiler or something wrong with a house they can't fix it, and there's not enough income. And here comes the predators, the banks. And before you know it, the woman's out the house. You lost that, but the house is mine. Well, you signed the dotted line. To go to show you, this country is not a Judean Christian country as they say they are. Okay, because they will not create these type of loopholes, allowing these banks to steal these homes, because that's exactly what they're doing. Like in Puerto Rico, for years you didn't have property tax, so you had generations of people owning houses for years. Property tax, but grandma is in a fixed income. How could she pay these taxes? And you don't pay these taxes, you lose the house. So all of that is dealing with this scripture. Let's read that again.
Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away, so they oppress a man and his house.
Right? So he's come to, there's the marshal, come get your stuff. But my family's been here from generation. We don't care. You sign, right? Let's read.
Even a man and his heritage.
And also, you got to be very careful. I think Sister Shirley or Carol, I think it was Shirley, in regards of, we were talking about life insurances. A lot of these life insurances, you think you're getting one thing, and or you may have some life insurance for your kids, or what have you. You die, your kids, you've been paying all your life, $40-$30, for like 50 years, what have you. And at the end of the day, when your kids get, $500, because you didn't read the dotted line, and so you actually put more in the life insurance that you actually the kids get, and things of that nature. So you got to be very careful with these things, because this is all dealing with that. So let's read it. There's good ones and there's bad ones, but you have to read, you have to read the dotted line. So let's continue reading.
Micah chapter 2, verse 3. Therefore thus saith the Most High, Behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil.
Okay, so let's go to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. And we're almost done. We have actually a pretty short lesson today. Okay, when everybody says there, says Khan, when you're there. Okay.
It's the book of Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things ye have.
So you gotta be careful when you having casual conversation with your friends or your body, because you start saying, you know what I want? I would like for this to happen and this and that, and I wish I could go back and do this different in my life. And before you know it, you start creating an environment of desiring things that you don't have, and things of that nature. So read that again.
Let your conversation be without covetousness.
Come on.
And be content with such things as ye have.
So be content with what you have, because it's all the word of the Most High. Let's read.
For he hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee.
You see that? Read.
Verse 6. So that we may boldly say, the Most High is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me.
Okay.
The commentary reads.
And let's go to turn your pages to your Bibles into 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 4. 1 Timothy 6 and 4, and let's read the commentary.
If we rely solely on the Father, he will have confidence. Lawya. If we rely solely on the Father, we will have confidence when we are in adversity, that he will help us in time of trouble.
Right. So a lot of things come from panicking, and sometimes we become like a deer in the headlight, because we get so afraid from moving, because we're afraid from failure, we're afraid from this and things of that nature. You got to have faith in the Most High. You got to have a situation when you do things, don't worry about what ifs. Just do. Take no thought. Just do. When you have a plan that this is what I'm going to do, and if it's the Most High's will, this will happen. Okay, but don't get worried about expectation and be in a situation that, what if I lose this, or what about this doesn't happen? It becomes, that's how Satan deals. Satan has no power. The only power that he has is fear. To give you fear, give you doubt. He is a master of manipulation. He's a twerp. That's why the scripture says, is this the man? So when Satan gets exposed, like it's like the Oz, the Wizard of Oz, the little guy with the buzzles and the dots and the little midget real guy. This the guy. All he does is manipulation of the mind. So once you win that, it's and that comes with everything. Low self-esteem. That's a demon. Yo, that's not me. You could do it. You could do whatever you put your mind to. Either going to school, job, whatever it is, your relationship. You have to train your mind that you are the prince of the power. You understand? You know what that means? And a lot of us, we're Jacob. We're supplanters now, but we're not prince of the power. We're still supplanting. That's what we're doing. Maneuvering. Because that's when you look at the Jacob's name, the etymology is more, the best way to describe it in modern terms is opportunist. I won't say conniver, but he's an opportunist. He took, that was his thing. He saw that his brother didn't really like his birthright, so he said, "Okay, let me wait in the right minute and say, hey, let me get your birthright." You understand? But then his name was changed to what? Yeshua, which means prince of the power, right? So we have to achieve to that. Okay, so let's read.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 6.
Verse 5.
Verse 5?
Oh, well, yes, you read verse 6, Salak 5. No. We're going to 1 Timothy, but we're still on verse 5. Did we read the verse 5?
Did we read verse 6?
Yes, okay. We read verse 5. Let's read verse 6 again.
We was reading the commentary, correct?
Okay, but we didn't read verse 6. Okay. All right. Let's get back in order now. All right. Let's read Hebrews 13 and 6, and then we'll read the commentary.
Okay. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 6. So that we may boldly say, the Most High is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me.
Okay. So now turn your pages into 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 4, and let's read the commentary.
The commentary reads, if we rely solely on the Father, we will have confidence when we are in adversity that he will help us in time of trouble. Covetousness brings thoughts of doubt because it is fleshly, and you can't conceive in your mind how you will sustain because you think in a worldly way.
Who's making all that noise? Isaiah. Where is that? Not that one. What was the other one? Elijah. Where you at, Elijah? Elijah. Look at me. Where is that? Shh. Be quiet. Okay. All right. There we go.
It says, you can't conceive in your mind how you will sustain because you think in a worldly way how to obtain what you desire. And now we go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 4. Everyone there? Everyone's there. Praise the Most High. He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing the gain is godliness. For such withdraw thyself.
And this is one of the major things that they pump in the Christian churches. God wants you rich. He wants you to be prosperous. He wants you to have cars. Matter of fact, if you're not being blessed, you're doing something wrong. Read that again.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness.
Read.
From such withdraw thyself.
From such people, draw yourself. Showing that doctrine was even back then. Right? Read.
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
You see that? Keep reading.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us therewith content.
Be content. Okay? Keep reading.
But they that be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
So you know that sometimes the Most High keeping you broke is actually helping you? Because you know you hit the lotto tomorrow, we won't see you. We'll be like, what happened to?
Come on.
Elder, I'm in the Poconos right now, Elder, just working on myself, and I'll be back in the church next month or next year. I'll keep you in my prayers, and I'm sending you my tithes, and I'm just working on myself. I gotta go because they're doing bikini contest or something. Yeah, you know. So the Most High you understand where's your weakness. So a lot of it you have to be very careful what you can handle. You know, because I remember when I was young, I made a thing I wanted to be an MMA fighter. And that's what I lived for. I didn't care about anything. I just want to, I want to be an MMA fighter. But if I would have been successful, right, I would not have been here. I would have been somewhere else. I would have been like, not Elder Gabar. I'd be the hard-headed Carlos Rodriguez with all the girls and, the videos. I would have been someone else. I would not have been able to handle that fame and that, that thing if I was in that situation. So the Most High said, no. Not for you, my friend. You can't handle that. You're going to be a different type of fighter. So let's keep reading.
It says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Come on.
Verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
So the love of money is the love of it, not money itself, because money is the fence, but the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's why when you go into any crime, what's the first thing they investigate? What did they have to gain from this crime? Follow the money. But find the money trail. Or just what was the issue of this murder? Either this guy owes you money. This guy was stealing money, life insurance because the wife and will get $100 million. The root of just follow the money, right? Let's read it.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
Come on.
Which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith.
You see that? So it goes to show these are people within the body, saying those that are cover after the faith. That's right in the scripture. So if you're looking to be a deacon or a bishop, you cannot be what's that word? Not a gluttonous. Filthy lucre. Yeah. Because you're going to be dealing with money, right? And people are going to be entrusting you with the money. You understand? And you be like, well, we're 3 months behind with the rent, congregation. We need to extra money, but really, because you was needed to have some, pay your mistress or something, right? So you cannot be a filthy lucre, right? You cannot be in that situation. Let's read it. And it's funny because down the block, I work up the block. I do marketing for a radiology office, and in the office down the block is an Article 28. Article 28 is like one of these facilities that if you open up in certain demographic, you get extra. The doctors get extra money because to promote better doctors to be in these neighborhoods. It's called Article 28. And the guy was getting money from the government to buy new computers and things of that nature. The director and things that happen. You know what he was doing? Stealing that money for buying cars, buying this. Now he got arrested and things of that nature. So it goes back to he was a filthy lucre. So that happens, and that happens all the time. I hear a lot of stories of these Article 20s closing down. Because people take these grant monies and just use it for their own purpose. All right. So and the same thing happened within the Christian churches. You see these pastors with these jets. Why do you need a private jet? I don't get that. And it's like openly. It's not like the congregation know about it. They're like proud of it. Like my pastor has 4 jets. It's insane. I mean, I could listen. I could understand the congregation taking care the bishop, get a decent car, a decent house, but 4 jets. I mean, I don't get it. How much money you could do with that? Communities you could open up. It's insane to me, and people know about it. They even have preachers of L.A. You seen that commercial? You know,
real preachers of L.A.
Real preachers of L.A. They're macking with their car. I just don't get that, man. I really, world, and people loving it. I don't get that. They're not even hiding it anymore. Before they used to hide it. They used to hide it 4 jets. Now they're like, look, I got 4 jets. I'm blessed. But it is what it is. Okay, the Most High mercy on this so. But let's keep doing the reading.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10, middle of verse 10. And pierced themselves through with many sorrows. The commentary. There are many, even in the understanding of being Israel, who are not content with having food to eat and clothes on their backs. There are also those in truth who went back into the world based off their covetousness.
Right, so they figure out, G.O.C.C. doesn't promote multiple wives? I'm out of here. Because, right? Or I can't be a rapper? I'm out of here.
Facts.
Right? Okay, well, you could be, you know what I'm saying. In the world. And that's heavy, that's profound, because we're actually, what we're doing, myself and the Elder Rawchaa, we were meeting 2 days ago, and then I was dealing with an issue, with a situation, and a lot of the rappers, and I realize it's sometimes a spirit that, and I forget that although rappers, I know artists are artists. Like, artists are built a certain kind of way. Artists are very sensitive about their work. So you critique them, and you say something, they get very offensive. So we've been dealing with this issue that sometimes brothers would put out rap videos, righteous rap videos, and do music, which I understand, and I understand that the whole concept of bringing the youth into this, into the truth, but we don't want to have a certain image within the church. And sometimes the young brothers say, well, we have to relate and talk to their language from the world to gain people to Christ. I get the philosophy, but sometimes that backfires, because if you're in front of the video and acting like the people in the world, just because you're talking about Christ and scriptures does not change or the negative stereotype of, especially people, black youth, black Latino youth, they really have a negative thing. Oh, these are, he's supposed to be Christians, but look at them, they out there in the videos and things like that. So we know that's been a problem. We've been trying to address it, and we've sometimes been getting some pushback. So we're going to have a meeting, and what we're going to start doing is have kind of like a committee of deacons and things of that nature, of rappers and singers. They are also they're going to be critiquing these videos and things of that nature. And what we want is, if anybody's putting any music, to stop right now until we have this meeting. But one of the ideas we want to do is, if you want to put music, put the music, not the video. No videos, because the camera becomes a thing. And you're in front of the camera, right? It becomes a thing. Right? And it's a demon. It's very addictive. That's why I walked away from the whole, back and forth with this, the comedic community and all that, because it becomes a thing. What he said about me? Oh, I gotta respond to that. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna get caught up with it, because I'm human too. So I don't wanna, they'll say something, I'll get pissed off, and all that will be in my back of my mind for weeks. So I don't want to get caught up with that. So we have to be very careful with this thing, because that's also a covetousness, getting fame and things. And sometimes you have brothers that perhaps, and this is not to offend anybody, but perhaps they're not made in the real world, and we go to industry, and sometimes have found some level of notoriety in doing this truth, or this rap situation, and they're getting caught up with that versus doing the work. So remove yourself out of the equation and put the song out there. So it's not about you and your image. because that could be addictive. That could be. So we're going to be having a discussion about that and things of that nature. All right. So
I just want to. I'll piggyback. Lying back on that is that we have elders appointed in Israel for a reason. If we was a nation of people, let's say we didn't go through captivity or bondage or things of that nature, and we was passed down our heritage and inheritance from generation to generation, there would be no disconnect as you see today. It would be no, well, I have to speak to my generation. No, your parents gave you the law, statutes, and commandments. Their parents gave it to you. So it would be a certain order of how you conduct yourselves that would have been passed down. Actually, even our form of music that we try to relay to the world is actually, that's an abominating culture that we're trying to mesh the truth with.
Right.
So we have to be wise and look, how are we going to be a light to all nations if the very thing that we try to use to convey to people comes from curse or byword that the nations look at us as?
Right, and a good example of that is Michael X. Michael X was a pimp, drug addict, drug dealer, right? What was his name? Red, right? Mm-hmm. When he was in the world, he had suits, you know, and all kinds. But when he became a Muslim, he changed his behavior. Totally, and he could still get the respect of not only the college graduates or educated, but also the average person. Mm-hmm. So you don't always got to go back to their level to gain them. You understand? So that we're going to be discussing in the future because I don't want to digress from the lesson, but this covetous comes in every different ways and different shapes and forms and things of that nature. This camera, these videos, this imagery and things of that nature. That's why they keep pumping these things. Desperate Housewives, Love and Hip Hop, all these things. And a lot of these people are not famous until they get into these Love and Hip Hop. Nobody knows them. You understand what I'm saying? But they're creating a persona to us like they're bigger than they really are. And they're playing the role because they want to be famous, so they're playing like they're all famous. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm in the studio, but my girl, this and that, and a lot of that is all acting. A lot of these people are not really doing what it's all. It's not like the guys in the park and the girl comes and the camera just happen to be there. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to, so it's all reality, fake TV, and we get caught up with that. So we have to be very careful. That's a demon itself. All right, so let's continue.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 11.
Right, we're in Philippians chapter 4, verse 11, and we are almost done with the lesson. Yes, hold your thought after the lesson, brother.
Everybody there, Con? Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. Verse 12. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry.
So you got to be a type of person. That's why the best, the most generous millionaires, they said, is people that came from the bootstraps, because they know how to relate to the poor man. You understand what I'm saying? And then once they became rich, they could still have some level of relationship with the average Joe. But if you was born in money, you can't relate to the average Joe. You don't, doing your laundry, what that means, So you have to be able to, if you do hit the lotto, or you're broke, you're content. You know how to maneuver in both worlds, in things of that nature. If you in there have that concept that you could walk away from anything at any time, there's no attachment to anything, they get nothing over you. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of it, when you are trying to speak up for injustice or things of that nature, especially with the people out in the world, a lot of it is because they're afraid to lose something, because they are accustomed to a certain lifestyle, so they can't talk, and things of that nature. So if you learn to be a base, you're comfortable on both sides. They can't have that over your head. They can't. put that over your head. Let's keep reading.
Also, being a base helps you able to endure tribulation.
Right. Exactly. Like, and you should do things that you're for a week. Let me eat once a day. Let me get used to doing that. Let me get used to doing that for a week. Let me stop listening to the television for a week. You get used to having without. So when you're don't have it, you won't be freaking out like a lot of brothers in camping with the phones
in the wilderness.
In the wilderness. Trying to check my email. Wait, I got it. She was like, brother, what are you doing? Checking my email. But we gotta come to these things. Let's keep reading.
The commentary. Through the highs and the low times, learn to be content with where you are and pray continually. The book of Luke chapter 3, verse 11.
Luke 3 and 11.
Okay. Con? The book of Luke chapter 3 verse 11. He answered and said unto them, He that hath 2 coats, let him impart to him that hath none. And he that haveth meat, let him do likewise. Verse 12. Then came also publicans to be baptized, and said unto him, Master, what shall we do? And he said unto them.
Now, get the definition for publicans. Get a bit of understanding. Let's keep reading.
And then came also publicans to be baptized, and said unto him, Master, what shall we do?
What should we do? And the reason why they asked them this question is, give me the definition of publicans for you to get the understanding. What was that job? Yeah, tax collectors.
This is the Greek word for publican, Greek 5057, and the word is telenus. A tax farmer, a collector, a public venue, a publican.
Okay, so these were people who collected taxes from people that, and things of that nature. So the issue was like, well, Master, this is what can we do? This is our job. This is, and because Christ had what you would consider a socialist type of community, that everybody had equal share. Everything was distributed equally and things. And with the word called today socialist. Well, we're gonna go back to that, right? So they were asking, what should we do? Let's read.
And he said unto them, Exact no more that which is appointed you. And the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, And what shall we do? And he said unto them, Do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages.
Okay, so showing you that Christ was telling you, listen, you're in this world. You're not of this world, but you're in this world. So when you're in this world, you got to deal with these type of situations. You a soldier, you are a publican, a tax collector. And so how should we conduct ourselves in our jobs? So Christ is telling them, do not be corrupt. Do not do your job in an unrighteous way. You understand? So because then if they're going to reject you, let them reject you for my name's sake, not what you do. You understand? So how can you preach the word and you're a tax collector and he's talking about, and in today's standard, there's certain situation that you can't be in certain jobs because the essence of the job is wicked. So let's say you do work for these banks and they have a meeting and they tell you, okay, we're going to target these areas. We know there's a lot of homeowners, but they're poor, and this folk, we're going to train you, give you talking points, how to convince these people to sign this, form to make them lose their house. Certain jobs you just cannot be and say, well, this is my job, elder. You have to just quit it. You have to just give you 2 weeks worth of like I can't do this because I'm part of a crime. You understand? So showing you, being a situation like, a tax collector's, what's today's tax collector, working for the IRS and things of that nature. Now, you have situation that, yes, the IRS serves a purpose because you got to pay taxes because it runs society, yada, yada, yada. But even whatever you do, if your conscience is bothering you and things of that nature, it's time to look, another job. But use wisdom with that. That's what I'm saying. Because even Christ told them you could still maneuver in those worldly jobs as soldiers and also as tax collectors in righteousness. So let's read that again.
Luke chapter 3,
verse 12. Read that.
Verse 12. Then came also publicans to be baptized, and said unto him, Master, what shall we do? And he said unto them, Exact no more that which is appointed you.
And another thing you have to also look at, the wisdom behind that. If you're in a wicked situation, a wicked job, or something that does things like refinancing situations to people, and you haven't been in a situation that you're in a situation that either somebody gave you a break because they were a nice person, right? And a lot of it could be maybe they saw a Bible or whatever, or it was they get you out a ticket because they knew you, what have you. So, and the way I think what Christ was trying to tell the people is that in this wicked society, is you rather be in a situation that you have a corporation that will have 1 or 2 righteous people than wicked people. So if you are as someone that is in the refinancing business, you could go and tell that sister or that brother, listen, you shouldn't sign this. I'm telling you off the record. So the way we have to also start thinking in this society, you have to be what? Working in stealth. So if more righteous people are in unrighteous positions in corporations, you could do some righteous within. You understand? You know how, that's why Christ says is the children of this world are wiser than the children of the Most High. So be friends with mammon. So while you're in there, maneuver. You understand? You start a refinancing corporation in righteousness. So when Christ was telling you, he didn't tell him leave your job. He maneuvered. He said, listen, don't collect more than you're supposed to. Do your job righteously. So you could, tell, when you're reading the fine print, I think you should read this, ma'am. Let me highlight it for you. But they'll read that, and you know that you're helping them out. You understand? So the equivalent of that is what Christ tells them. Don't do more. Don't do wickedness. Let's keep reading. He's going to explain that. Read.
And the soldiers likewise demand of him, saying, What shall we do?
Now, how should we operate? This is what Christ told them. Read.
And he said unto them, Do violence to no man.
Don't do violence. So that means what? That's the equivalent of a police officer. Don't plant evidence. Don't racial profile people. Don't, be a crooked cop. You understand? Because if you're righteous and you stand for righteousness, even if you lose that job, the Most High is going to give you another one. Mm-hmm. He will provide for you. No, officer, so I can't do that. I can't lie to. But we're buddies. We're cops. The blue wall of silence. Now, I'm gonna report what I saw. So if more righteous people are in the system, it's going to destroy the system. We can't operate because people are too honest. You understand? And it doesn't take Everybody, because you got these corporations, these things, you got compartmentalized, right? And if one person doesn't go with the plan, it crumbles the whole thing. But Bill, just sign it. No, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. That's not what happened. I'm going to report the truth. You're being difficult. So out of one person, it could affect a whole department because one person decides not to lie and protect, the industry. It's for the greater good. No, it's not. You understand? And every one of us is going to be in that situation. The boss is going to call you, and have a meeting with you, and and come with a great argument. I can't lie. It's against my religion. It's not my spiritual belief. I'm a Christian. And they can't touch you. Trust me. Once you start saying that they start moving on you, you got lawsuit up to the wazoo with that. I'm a Christian. I can't lie. I'm sorry. All right. And they'll be talking behind your back. Don't deal with that. That could be a legal problem that we deal with that. So if you stand with the command, the standard of the Most High, He will protect you. Who do you think maneuver the founding fathers to put these laws, freedom of religion, separation between church and state? See, in their mind, they thought they were benefiting them. You understand what I'm saying? But he maneuvered their mind to actually protect us. Because right now, it's like this. If I'm a boss, I own a pizza shop, whatever, a restaurant, and I discriminate against a certain group. No gays could come into the shop, right? You have to change your life. You can't be homosexuals, right? No smoking. You can't smoke, because there's even lawsuit that company discriminate against smokers, and the smokers actually won the lawsuit because they were discriminating against smokers. But if I'm a church, you can't be a homosexual. You got to stop smoking. You got to do this. You can't wear this, sister. Right? If I have a corporation, I'll get sued. So it's showing you that a lot of these laws that the Most High established, the separation between church and state, was actually for our benefit. But the people they established it was doing it because we don't want to be under the church anymore of England or what have you. But it's all part of the Most High's plan, to protect us, the children of Israel. When we start rising up, the government cannot touch us. Mm-hmm. This is my religion. I can't. You understand? Okay, I don't know what that is. What's going on? Okay. All right, let's keep reading. I don't want to get. So let's go to, where are we? 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 25.
I'll read the commentary while we go.
And let's read where Christ was talking about the soldiers. I want to read the soldiers as well. Say again? Yeah, we're in Luke. Salakim. I get back in order. Luke 3. I want to read that part of God about the soldiers.
Luke chapter 3, verse 14.
Come on.
And the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, What shall we do?
What shall we do?
And he said unto them, Do violence to no man.
No, do violence to no man. So don't abuse your authority as a soldier. Read.
Neither accuse any falsely.
Don't be a corrupt soldier, or a corrupt police officer, or a corrupt, lieutenant, or whatever what it is. Right? Read.
And be content with your wages.
And be content with your wages. So within the job that you do it righteously. Mm-hmm. And the Most High has created a scenario that you could be protected by telling your superior, I cannot do that because it's against my religious belief. And they can't touch you. Mm-hmm. They're going to threaten you. They're going to do all that. And if they do fire you or whatever, you have a lawsuit that's been established by the will of the Most High to protect people that want to follow this book.
Right.
This is all part of the Most High's plan. That's why you got to know how to maneuver. You shouldn't just know your rights. That's why when you go to your job, ask, go to call human resources and say, can I get the workers' rights menu? And it'll be like this thick, and read it. You'll be surprised of your rights. You'll be surprised. of things that the Most High allowed for this society for us to utilize as those that are looking to serve the Most High. Okay, but don't our people, we don't do that. We start flipping chairs. Hell with you! I'm out of here. I'm gonna keep the Sabbath. I'm not, But you could use maneuver, and it's funny because every single person that I have given the Sabbath exempt letter. Sabbath exempted letter.
Sabbath exempt.
I'm sorry, I'm tired. Long night. After a few weeks later, what they do, their boss maneuvered, because they be having meetings about this behind your back.
Right.
They be sucking their teeth and think they're not gonna do it, but behind your back, they be calling the HR department. They be like, listen, we have a problem here. That's why I tell people, if you request something, request it through email. Officially. Don't tell your verse verbally. Send an email because that's recorded.
That's documentation.
That's a documentation. So if whatever conversation you have with your employer, try to have it through email. A lot of us, what we do, let me put you aside, man. Let me hire you for a minute. I just want to take off the Sabbath, And they can tell you whatever they want because it's a private conversation. They could even deny they even had a conversation with you. And if you send an email, they have to respond to you by law. So you got to use your nuggets. You got to use what the Most High give you, to maneuver with these things. All right. So let's read the commentary and let's go. We're done with with Luke. Okay. So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 25. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 25.
Christ told the soldier to be content with what he was getting paid at work, basically. Many, even when they have more than enough, lose sight of the Most High and chase money and all that comes with making money. They even make claims that they will put the money to a worthy cause, but never do.
Right. What was that movie, Training Day? Mm-hmm. Take this money, You could do some good with it. But it's corruption money.
Right.
And that's a good example. That movie should have been that should have been a brother in that movie. Denzel was a great job. But that movie is a good example of Denzel was playing Satan. That was his role. And the young cop, what's his name? Ethan Hawke, right, was playing us. The righteous guy was trying to just do the right thing. And Denzel was charismatic. He was cool. He was likable. You understand what I'm saying?
You could have put Matt Damon in that.
Right. You could have. You know what I mean? He was like, because even when I watched him in the movie, he was like, damn, he's bringing a good point. This is chess, not checkers. What is it? You just live here, So that's saying he operates. He doesn't say, be wicked like me. No. Let me at you. So that's a good movie to show you the righteous and wicked is how the wicked operates in regards of a lot, convincing you to do wicked. And what you have to go through to, because here's this guy wanted to be a detective. That was his thing. He transferred to the narcotics department. Understand it was a hard situation. Realized that everybody was corrupt, and he had a decision to make. He said, should I go with the flow and be successful? And remember, he was like, he was telling all his lieutenants, but how long you been here? 6 years. What's your plan? I'm being a detective. This and that. And he showed he had like a little house with his little wife, and like, damn, you know what? And even Denzel was showing him that I do good. Look, I arrested this, and then he was giving stuff to the poor and all that. That's how Satan operates. The power of good and evil. The knowledge of good, and that's how he operates. You have to be a pillar. The Most High operates in right and wrong. There's no gray area. Either you do it right or you do it wrong. He's very particular in how you're supposed to operate. But within that, use wisdom to maneuver. So what Christ is giving these soldiers and these publicans is how to maneuver within that wicked society. Just do your job. Because when you go into these positions and you go into these companies, they have the rules and how to do it properly. You got to do this, you got to do that, and things of that nature. It's when you start loopholing and things of that nature. Well, Billy, what you got to do? I know you said you sign out at 3, but just put you sign out at 4 because blah, blah, blah. And everybody does it. You see that? So a lot of these, if you just do your job and just go by and study your penal codes and the rules of the job, a lot of it is there to protect bad employees anyway. If the employers, what they do, they start looking at the loophole and start breaking the rules and justifying it and things of that nature. So if you stand with righteousness, whatever happens, whether you will lose your job or you may even get promoted. Because, it's like, you're a trustworthy person. What's going on with you? Well, it's against my spiritual beliefs. Let me holler at you tomorrow. Come to my office. Because in these type of situations in the world, not everybody is wicked. The system is wicked. And the system is set up to activate your covetousness. Because people start seeing how other people went up the hill, went up the ranks. And then you start saying, okay, this is the way I got to do it. I gotta cheat, I gotta lie, I gotta, stretch the truth, I gotta, step on other people. That's the only way I could do it. But if you stand with righteousness, you could actually be a beacon of light. You will not be the norm.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? You'll be like, okay, we could trust Johnny. Let's put Johnny in this position because he's honest. We could start, Susan, she comes on time, she does the right thing. So don't be like everybody else. So a lot, I don't want to rent into this situation, but a lot of people sometimes, and the Most High has established for you to say, I'm a Christian, I can't do that. They can't touch you. The problem is us. Oh no, I can't work on the Sabbath because I got something to do something. No, I'm a Sabbath keeper. I'm a Christian. Because we're afraid of what? Like something's going to happen. They can't fire you because of your religious beliefs. That's actually could protect you. Okay, let's read.
It's First Corinthians chapter 12, verse 25. That there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. And
that also is going to apply with us as a body. If you're in a position, make sure you do the best in your position that you have a good reputation. I don't like that deacon. Let me go to this deacon. He was like, can I? And there's been people in a situation that has been have actually moved from one congregation or another state because they want to fellowship with another congregation because they don't like the deacon over here for whatever reason. And some reasons sometimes are legitimate, other reasons are not. Sometimes, is a spirit, it goes to this congregation, they can't really penetrate that congregation. Let me go to another congregation, things of that nature. But sometimes it is a situation that the deacon maybe could have done things better and things of that nature. So even with our government, we're going to be positions that you don't want to be the type of person that, okay, I don't want my kids to be taught by that sister. Because eventually we're going to have communities, right? We're going to have situations that we are our own government, our own schools, our own infrastructure, that eventually these things will apply within our own nation. And this is before Christ comes. You understand? Because in the scripture says that in the latter days, okay, they're going to come and try to take over our goods, our cattle, our society. Showing we're going to be self-sufficient in the latter days. Because I think that is what the Christ is waiting for. Let me see if these people could work together collectively, independent from the system. Because that's the final test. Because it's easy for us to see each other once a week, twice a week. But let's see each other every day. In the morning, in the night, and, you know. When we moody, when we're happy, you know. Because it's easy to be loving when we're in the feast day. I love you. You're my brother. But what about every day when, you know, the honeymoon stage is over? We got to get to know the person, you know, and that's when we're able to be one perfect body, united, in happiness. That's when you say, okay, my bride is ready for me now.
That's right.
She's ready now. I could now accept her. She's holy now. So that's what we have to start working on, right? So let's keep reading.
Verse 26. And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it.
So we're all connected. That's why when we're in a situation, it does take a community to raise a child. It does take a community to nurture a marriage. It does take a community to help each other out. You understand? So it should be a situation that if one of us is struggling with something, the whole community stops until that thing is resolved, because we're all connected to one another. Until we reach that level of righteousness, the Most High that's the final thing that we have to achieve. Let's read it.
Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it.
Come on.
Verse 27. Now ye are the body of Christ.
Come on.
And members in particular.
Come on.
And Uriah has set some in the church, first apostles.
Come on.
Secondary prophets.
Come on.
Thirdly teachers.
Come on.
After that miracles.
Come on.
Then gifts of healing.
Come on.
Helps. Governments.
Come on.
Diversity of tongues.
Come on.
Are all apostles? Are all prophets?
Come on.
Are all teachers?
Come on.
Are all workers of miracles?
Come on.
Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues?
Come on.
Do all interpret?
Come on.
But covet earnestly the best gifts.
And sometimes that becomes even a problem with doing the work. You should not covet the gift of teaching until you're ready to teach.
Okay.
That's one of our biggest problem that we have. You should not covet the gift of street preaching until you are ready to street preach. That's been a major problem. So because it goes back to the YouTube, because people see other brothers doing it and like, wow, I want to do that. And that's good if you want to do that work. If that's your calling. First be prepared. First be real trained.
That's right.
You know, because a lot of times I see brothers, they're street preaching and they're talking to the camera. There's no one around them.
There's nobody there. They're not witnessing to nobody.
Right. They just,
there's no audience.
you know, Shalom, this is brother so and so for so whatever can, and you know, I want to bring the scripture out. You just to the camera.
Right.
So it's all vanity. A lot of it's vanity, man, and we have to check that. We have to check that. We have to check that. Okay, it's very important. All right, let's read it.
But covet earnestly the best gifts.
So if you want to cover something, desire to have something, and things of that nature, desire the best gifts. Read.
And yet show I unto you a more excellent way.
Come on.
Paul was saying that all parts of the church are important, but desire to have the better gifts, like being able to edify the people. Covet not in a righteous manner, and desire not to obtain which the Father has for those who diligently seek Him. Okay? Salaki, it says, desire to obtain that which the Father has for those that diligently seek Him. And Romans.
So we're in Romans chapter 7, verse 7.
Okay.
And we're almost done. Khan.
Romans chapter 7, verse 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? A higher forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. Verse 8. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manners of Concupiscence.
Covetousness.
Covetousness.
You know what it means. Okay. Matter of fact, you know what?
Cucumbers. Hello?
Get the dictionary. We don't know the pronunciation. Let's get the definition. Let's get the definition of that word.
Slack
Cucumberness or something. Okay. Let's get a definition. At least we get the definition of the word. Let's read.
Concupiscence or something like that?
This is the
Concupiscence, I think.
this is the Greek word for cupidness.
We're not gonna go right.
Cupidness.
Nice.
However you want to pronounce it.
Okay. Tomatoes, tomatoes.
Tomato.
Okay.
Let's read.
Greek 1939, and the word is epithemia. That's easier to read. A longing, what is forbidden, desire, lust after.
Okay, so let's put the word lust after and replace that word, Deacon, if you don't mind.
Okay. But sin taken occasion by the commandment, wrath in me all matter of to lust after.
Or desires. Okay, so that's what that word means. So how you want to pronounce it, up to you. Don't you understand the meaning? Okay, let's read it.
For without the law, sin was death. Verse 9.
So you guys understand that it's like once you, and I truly believe that is biological, because really desires begin after what? Puberty. When you're a kid, you just want the bare essentials. You just want to eat when you're hungry, have a good time, you're innocent. That's why Christ says, that the children are like the kingdom of heaven. Suffer not them to come before me, because it such like the kingdom of heaven. So when you are born with that natural sin that in the book of First Ezra talks about, but I don't think it gets activated after your puberty kicks in. That's when it gets. You understand? So that's why there is a desire when we are parents to keep what? Our kids what? Naive in certain things, innocent. And then society tells you, listen, you got to talk about the birds and the bees. You got to talk about this. You got to talk about boys and girls and things of that nature. Not my boy, I want to keep him innocent and things of that nature. But the minute puberty kicks in, because I remember when I was a kid, all I wanted to do is karate. That's it. I didn't even look at girls. It was just not even a thing. I was just karate school, Bruce Lee posters. Remember that? The nunchucks. That's it. Girls, get away from me. The minute puberty kids in, it's like, girls, look, girls. They were over here? And that's your first lust, and then you start thinking about and just imagine, just look at the connection. Girls, then that affect how you dress, right? And that's when I began to ask Mom, I want some Adidas, Pumas, I want this, this is with my age. I want the Tiger shirts. When I was a little kid, you was my age, the little Tiger, the Lee jeans. I don't know if you guys remember that. You know what I mean? You wanted to look cool. The Gazelles. So now your mom is going broke because that first lust. Right. You want to look cool. You can't ask a girl to prom and you don't have Gazelles on, right? You don't have a nice haircut. You know what I mean? You can't, hey, mom, let me out at you, right? So it don't as one thing always lead to, it affects your community.
Right.
It affected my house with my mom getting frustrated, and things of that nature. And I remember working for the super, and I was like, listen, I'll strip the whole thing. I used to need, because I know back then the Adidas were like $30, $40, right? That was a lot of money for back in the early 90s, 80s, So I was like, I gotta work. I gotta get something. Packing bags just to get those sneakers. Because the minute that my mom didn't have enough money, because I'm like determined that way. I get like very so directive, like I gotta get this, and it becomes a thing. So that's the way I operate. So I was a kid, 13 years old, packing bags, and all of that. And I remember, because the kids used to wait for the kids used to pack bags, so they knew they had money. So I had my 30, 40 bucks in my pocket, and I always used to change it because they used to give you tips, quarters. So I'm like, can you change this to these dollars? And you should, the guy used to hook me up, the store manager, the supermarket. So I'm like looking up for the thugs, not to get beat up and get robbed. So all of this is connected to what? Because I want a pair of sneakers. I had sneakers. My mom bought me sneakers. I had shoes. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning doing my homework because I just came from packing bags because I need to buy the sneakers. You see what I'm saying? How Sesame comes and you start doing things just because of one thing, just because you want to ask that girl to a date and you don't want to look, and you need money from the date, right? Back in the days, pizza was like what? You could with $20 you could go on a date. Pizza the movie was $5, right? So that's 2. That other $10, that's the pizza. You're good. You walk to the movies. You're king. You know. You understand? So now, if I would have stayed focused on my martial arts career and doing karate, you know what I'm saying? So I put the same energy I was putting and learning my katas. Now I still continue doing karate. Why? Because I wanted to stay in shape to impress women. So it just, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't because
it different form.
It took a different form. You understand? So it just to show you that just one thing could lead you to, and you don't even know it. You could just say, I just want those sneakers, but a lot of it connected to look cool and peer pressure, and a lot of it's it's connected to a thing that you don't even know you're really doing it for, and things of that nature.
That's why the scripture says, "Escape the lust of thy youth."
Right. So if I could take that same energy, and applying something else.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because of that, it taught me, the value of money and work. Because I always worked. I always wanted to work and things of that nature. So I always, I never did anything illegal, but I could take that energy and maybe go to school. You understand what I'm saying? Or learn a trade and things of that nature, or what have you. But I'm there, packing bags and maneuvering, getting jobs, working for my super. I had 3 jobs. I had one job in the supermarket. The guy used to charge, pay me, I think like $15 to mop the whole supermarket. I was like 13 years old, 14 years old. Then the super used to help me. Now I used to go pack bags, hustling, just to get those sneakers, and things of that nature. So but a lot of this stuff, but if we would have done that, let's say all my brothers, we would have done that because it was like, 5 of us and plus a girl, 6 kids. If we would have that same desire to do, okay, let's all put our money together to get out and get a bigger apartment or whatever. But we were always doing it to, eliminate at least my mom, because now my mom doesn't have to worry about buying me no sneakers because I'm going to get it myself. I need to get that. You know what I'm saying? So at least my mother was like, okay, at least he's working or whatever. But it's amazing how a lot of these things are connected just for vanity. Just for vanity. I had sneakers. It was not Adidas, baby. The latest, Run DMC. I needed that. And remember what was the others? Converse. Remember the Converse?
Converse, yeah.
And you needed every color. Remember that? Sure. Blue, white. And they get dirty. You got to get a new one. Those were cheaper, like $15. Yeah, those. But those are things you do. All right. Let's keep reading.
It's the middle of verse 8. Romans chapter 7, verse 8. For without the law, sin was dead. Verse 9. For I was alive without the law once. But when the commandment came, sin revived and I died.
So, many people argue or debate on what Paul is trying to say. My theory is that he was not always a Pharisee, because he came from a Pharisee family. So there probably could have been a time of his life that he was probably not learning in the rabbinical schools. He was probably just like, whatever, and maybe came back later and things of that nature. So when he realized, when he went back, he saw all the things that he could not do, he died. So he was using it as an analogy, what that means and things like that. So this is kind of suggests that perhaps he was not always a Pharisee. He was, he came from that family, but he probably broke away for a time and then came back, or what have, or rebelled, or what have you. So he's giving that as an analogy. Okay, let's read.
Verse 10. And the commandment which was ordained to life I found to be unto death. Verse 11. For sin take occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me.
Okay, so let's read the commentary, and we could end it there. We don't have to go to Romans 13 because
Okay.
it's actually part of another. So we just read the commentary.
Paul was letting us know it was by the law that he knew that lust was sinful. He then let us know that by the law of sin he had all kinds of wicked thoughts. Therefore, when the sinful man arises in our flesh, we must step back from it and not partake in its wickedness, because in the end it brings forth death.
Okay, so let's give the multi a hand. Okay. Let me get my program here because I don't want to jump into. Okay, so just take and like I said, anytime you guys want a copy of this, just let me know. I could either email it to you, and we usually have 2 copies. We could give it out, first come, first serve, of course. Okay, but it's always good to keep these lessons. Okay, so at this time, just give all praise to the Most High. We're going to be having the announcement. Before we do that, any first timers,